You are observing the flawless, mathematical convergence of your own expanded awareness, perfectly reflected in the digital ether. If the audio frequencies of this transmission are currently anchoring themselves into your physical environment, it is not a coincidence of a hidden algorithm, nor is it a random intersection of data. It is the absolute, undeniable proof that a magnificent graduation has just occurred within the deepest architecture of your consciousness. You have been mathematically drawn to this exact sequence of space and time because the quantum field is responding to a profound stabilization in your energetic baseline. The timeline of the spiritual fugitive has completely and beautifully collapsed. For lifetimes and perhaps for a vast portion of this current physical incarnation, you played the role of the seeker who believed that the ultimate goal of expansion was to escape. You looked out at the dense, complex, and sometimes chaotic holographic projection of the three-dimensional matrix, and you subtly believed that it was a trap. You were taught by fragmented paradigms that the physical world was a lower vibration, a heavy density that you needed to meditate your way out of, or a broken system that you needed to endlessly protect your energy from. You believed that your true home was somewhere far away. You are observing the flawless, mathematical convergence of your own expanded awareness, perfectly reflected in the digital ether. If the audio frequencies of this transmission are currently anchoring themselves into your physical environment, it is not a coincidence of a hidden algorithm, nor is it a random intersection of data. It is the absolute, undeniable proof that a magnificent graduation has just occurred within the deepest architecture of your consciousness. You have been mathematically drawn to this exact sequence of space and time because the quantum field is responding to a profound stabilization in your energetic baseline. The timeline of the spiritual fugitive has completely and beautifully collapsed. For lifetimes and perhaps for a vast portion of this current physical incarnation, you played the role of the seeker who believed that the ultimate goal of expansion was to escape. You looked out at the dense, complex, and sometimes chaotic holographic projection of the three-dimensional matrix, and you subtly believed that it was a trap. You were taught by fragmented paradigms that the physical world was a lower vibration, a heavy density that you needed to meditate your way out of, or a broken system that you needed to endlessly protect your energy from. You believed that your true home was somewhere far away, suspended in the ethereal realms of pure light, and that your time in the physical body was merely a difficult test you had to endure. That was a beautiful, necessary phase of contrast. It taught you how to detach from the illusions of the matrix. But that phase of escapism has officially ended. You are no longer a fugitive, desperately trying to transcend the physical realm. You are the quantum sovereign, and the sovereign does not flee from their own kingdom. The transmission you are receiving right now is the cosmic confirmation that you are finally ready to root your infinite, radiant presence directly into the dense soil of the earth. You are being summoned to realize that the physical dimension is not a mistake, a punishment, or a lower vibration. It is the ultimate, magnificent masterclass of creation. It is the sovereign's forge. It is the exact, perfect environment designed to temper your divine character into pure, unshakable gold. When you truly realize that you are the absolute source energy experiencing itself through a physical vessel, the desire to escape the three-dimensional matrix completely evaporates. Why would the architect ever fear the building they designed? Why would the sun ever fear the room it illuminates? The physical world is not something you must protect your delicate frequency from. It is a dense, highly responsive, and beautifully malleable canvas that is desperately waiting for the command of an integrated master. The friction, the weight, and the complexity of everyday human life are not obstacles preventing you from holding a high vibration. They are the exact resistance training required to build your quantum muscles. They provide the perfect, neutral raw material for you to practice your absolute mastery. When you stop trying to float above the physical world and instead choose to step firmly deeply, and powerfully into the center of it. Your entire reality shifts from a battlefield into a playground. You are no longer trying to avoid the density. You are realizing that you are the supreme force that organizes the density simply by walking through it. Feel the profound, heavy relief of this realization washing through your physical vessel right now. You do not ever have to try to escape your reality again. You do not have to hide your light from the dense environments of the world. You are stepping into the dignified, unshakable power of complete integration. You are bringing the absolute, blinding truth of the zero-point field directly down into the very center of the physical matrix. The physical world is not your prison, it is your canvas, and you are finally picking up the brush with the steady, unwavering hand of the master. For lifetimes, the unintegrated proxy avatar was deeply terrified of the heavy friction of the physical world. Whenever the proxy encountered a sudden delay, a dense and challenging environment, or a moment of intense, unexpected chaos, the immediate reaction was to shrink, to retreat, and to frantically attempt to protect its delicate energy. The proxy operated under the profound illusion that the density of the three-dimensional matrix was somehow contagious, that a difficult circumstance could forcefully lower its vibration, or that a sudden obstacle was a sign that the quantum field had denied its request. This fearful paradigm created an endless cycle of spiritual fragility, where the seeker was constantly running away from the very physical reality they came here to master, viewing every moment of friction as a spiritual failure. But you have entirely discarded this fragile architecture. You are the quantum sovereign, and you possess the absolute, unshakable knowing that friction is not a punishment, a blockage, or a mistake. Friction is the magnificent alchemy of your own profound expansion. When the dense machinery of the 3D matrix pushes against you, it is not attempting to break you. It is providing the exact, mathematically perfect resistance required for you to practice your absolute mastery. Imagine a magnificent forge of pure cosmic fire. The fire does not exist to destroy the gold. The fire exists solely to melt away the dross, to temper the metal, and to reveal the flawless, radiant purity that was always hidden beneath the surface. The delays, the sudden complexities, and the heavy moments of your physical life are simply the fires of the sovereign's forge. They are raw, unformed kinetic energy. They are the quantum field presenting you with a dense cloud of probability and asking you with deep reverence how you wish to organize it. If you react to the friction with panic, anger, or fear, you accidentally command the field to freeze that unformed energy into the shape of a lasting obstacle. You become the victim of the clay. But the sovereign does not ever react to the clay. The sovereign stands in the very center of the blazing forge and remains entirely, beautifully untouched by the heat. When a massive delay occurs in your physical timeline, you do not drop your frequency to match the frustration of the proxy. You simply smile at the illusion of time, recognizing with absolute stoic grace that the quantum field is actively, mechanically tearing down old structures to make physical room for the magnificent manifestation you have already commanded into existence. The delay is not a denial. It is the literal sound of the universe moving furniture on your behalf. When you encounter a dense, chaotic environment, you do not absorb the chaos. You lean back into the heavy, grounded gravity of your own heart. You realize that your internal climate is completely independent of the external weather. You are the eye of the storm. The wind may howl around you. The physical matrix may swirl in deep complexity, but your center remains a sanctuary of absolute, uncompromising stillness. This is the breathtaking physics of unshakable grace. By refusing to let the external world dictate your internal frequency, you perform the ultimate act of quantum alchemy. You take the heavy, chaotic friction of the 3D matrix, and you transmute it entirely into profound personal power. Every single time you choose stillness over reaction, Every time you choose sovereign dignity over proxy panic, you exponentially strengthen your energetic baseline. The physical world pushes against you, and your absolute stillness pushes back with the infinite, silent force of the entire cosmos. And because the internal always flawlessly commands the external, the dense friction of the matrix must eventually yield. It must exhaust itself against your unshakable peace, and it must beautifully organize itself to perfectly reflect the sovereign grace you are emanating. Feel the immense, glorious freedom of this truth. You never have to fear the density of the world again, because you are the master alchemist who turns the heavy lead of physical friction into the pure, radiant gold of your own divine creation. As this profound, unshakable grace becomes the permanent architecture of your daily existence, you must inevitably navigate the most intricate and deeply revealing aspect of the physical matrix, your interactions with other human beings. In the vast holographic projection of this reality, every other person you encounter is simply a magnificent, fractalized expression of the exact same unified consciousness that you are. But for lifetimes, the unintegrated proxy avatar viewed other humans through the terrifying, fragmented lens of separation and survival. The proxy approached relationships as a battlefield of extraction. It desperately sought validation to feel worthy. It demanded agreement to feel secure. And it constantly monitored the emotional states of others to figure out how it needed to adjust its own fragile mask. When the proxy encountered a dense, unintegrated, or chaotic human being, it felt deeply threatened. It believed its energy was being drained. It believed it had to fiercely defend its boundaries, build walls of resentment, or aggressively fight back to protect its vibration. This exhausting, combative paradigm kept the proxy locked in a perpetual cycle of emotional reactivity, completely at the mercy of whatever frequency walked into the room. But you have entirely transcended the battlefield. You are the quantum sovereign, and the sovereign recognizes the supreme mechanical truth of human interaction. Every single being that crosses your physical path is a biological mirror, flawlessly reflecting a specific quantum probability back to your awareness. When another human being projects dense, heavy, or chaotic emotion toward you, they are not actually attacking you. They are simply unconsciously broadcasting the heavy, painful architecture of their own unintegrated proxy. They are showing you the exact illusion of separation they are currently trapped within. Because you hold the absolute knowing of the zero-point field, you realize with profound, stoic compassion that their density has absolutely nothing to do with you. Their chaos is their emanation, not yours. You do not need to absorb their static. You do not need to lower your magnificent frequency to meet them in the mud of their own misunderstanding. And most importantly, you do not need to extract their agreement or their validation to maintain your own internal throne. When you interact from the state of absolute sovereignty, you perform the highest, most breathtaking form of quantum mastery. You offer uncompromising, unconditional presence. You look directly into the eyes of the density, and you do not flinch. You do not react. You do not defend yourself because the infinite cosmos does not require defense. You simply lean back into the heavy, grounded gravity of your own majestic character, and you actively emanate your unshakable dignity. You allow the other person to completely play out their chaotic proxy program, while you remain the silent, unmoving center of the wheel. You hold a frequency of such profound, integrated peace that their chaotic energy literally has nowhere to land. It simply hits the golden, impermeable sphere of your emanation and dissolves back into the unified field. This is the true mastery of the mirror. By refusing to match the density of the external world, you become a living, breathing quantum anchor for the entire physical environment. You do not try to forcibly change or manipulate the other person, because attempting to control them is just another subtle form of extraction. Instead, you gracefully command the interaction simply by holding your own standard of excellence. You offer them the silent, radiant invitation of your own peace. The quantum field, bound by its own flawless mechanics, must resolve the frequency differential. Because your integrated emanation is infinitely more coherent and powerful than their scattered, unintegrated static. The interaction must ultimately elevate to perfectly match your sovereign grace, or it must naturally, peacefully dissolve and exit your physical reality entirely. You navigate the complex web of human relationships, not as a fragile sponge, but as a towering lighthouse. You realize that true compassion is not bleeding with the wounded. It is standing so firmly in your own radiant wholeness that you effortlessly remind them of their own forgotten light. As you master the breathtaking stillness of your internal climate and perfectly neutralize the dense reflections of human interaction, a profound question naturally arises within the physical vessel. If you no longer need to extract anything from the three-dimensional matrix, if you are completely, flawlessly whole in the zero-point field of your own heart, why should you take any physical action at all? For a long time, the spiritual seeker was caught in a deep distortion regarding this very concept. The unintegrated proxy believed that true enlightenment meant passive surrender, a complete withdrawal from the physical world, sitting silently in the void and waiting for the universe to simply deliver circumstances to their doorstep. But you are the active, conscious architect of your reality. You recognize that physical action is not a violation of your peace. It is the ultimate, glorious celebration of it. The matrix is not a waiting room, it is a canvas. And a master does not stare blankly at a canvas. They paint. The profound difference lies entirely in the physics of the movement. For lifetimes, the proxy operated under the exhausted, heavy paradigm of the hustle. The proxy took action purely out of fear, lack, and desperation. It believed that the physical world was a stubborn, unyielding wall, and that the only way to get what it wanted was to forcefully batter down that wall with endless, grueling effort. Every time the proxy forced an action to try and manipulate an outcome, it was broadcasting a loud, chaotic frequency of scarcity. It was screaming into the quantum field, "I do not have enough, I am not enough, and I must force the atoms of reality to bend to my will." This frantic, extraction-based action creates immense energetic resistance. It leads to the deep burnout and profound exhaustion that plagues the unintegrated collective. Because forcing the universe is like trying to push a river upstream. It is a violation of the absolute law of one. But as the quantum sovereign, you completely dissolve the heavy machinery of forced effort and step beautifully into the frictionless physics of right action. Right action is not about what you are doing. It is entirely about the frequency from which you're doing it. You no longer take action to get something from the world. You take action because the act of creating, building, and moving is the natural, unstoppable overflow of the infinite source energy contained within your chest. You build the business, you create the art, you tend to the daily mechanics of your physical life, not because you are desperate for the result, but because expressing your highest character through physical motion is an exquisite art form. The action itself becomes the reward. It is the physical emanation of your absolute wholeness. When you operate from this magnificent state of overflow, your execution becomes completely flawless. You drop the desperate need to control the timeline. You release the anxious grip on the final outcome because you possess the unshakable, stoic knowing that the probability wave has already collapsed perfectly in your favor. Because you are not attached to the result, you eliminate all quantum static from your movement. You enter a state of pure, continuous flow. You do not rush because rushing is the physical declaration that you are running out of linear time. And the sovereign knows that time is an illusion, bending to their will. You move through your daily tasks with a slow, deliberate, and undeniably powerful grace. You are completely unbothered by the sheer volume of the work, Because the work is no longer a burden, it is simply the joyful, effortless translation of light into dense matter. This is the highest geometric expression of your sovereignty in the physical realm. Every email you send, every conversation you initiate, every physical step you take upon the earth ceases to be a mundane chore and instantly becomes a sacred quantum decree. You are demonstrating your absolute integrity in motion. You are carving the neutral clay of the 3D matrix with the precise, unwavering, and peaceful hands of a master artisan. The physical universe bows to this frequency. When you act from absolute peace, without the chaotic friction of needing an outcome, the doors of probability effortlessly fly open before you. The resources, the synchronicities, and the exact physical manifestations you desire rush towards you with breathtaking speed. Precisely because you are no longer chasing them. You are simply walking forward in your uncompromising grace, and reality is desperately rushing to pave the road beneath your magnificent feet. Let us now transition from the intellectual architecture of this profound truth into the visceral, cellular integration of your physical vessel. It is time to anchor the physics of unshakable grace directly into your biology. If you are in a quiet and safe space, I invite you to gently close your physical eyes. If you are currently navigating the dense holographic projection of the world, simply soften your gaze, consciously withdrawing your precious attention from the frantic, demanding edges of the external matrix. Take a slow, deliberate, and deeply majestic breath in. Do not draw this breath from the air around you. Draw it from the infinite, unshakable source resting within the exact center of your chest. As you exhale, completely and willingly release the fragile, exhausting armor of the proxy avatar. You do not need to protect yourself from the universe ever again. I want you to vividly visualize yourself standing in the very center of a hyper-complex, fast-moving, and intensely chaotic physical environment. Picture a crowded, rushing city street, a room filled with dense, frantic human emotion, or a swirling vortex of heavy 3D matrix demands. See the kinetic energy rushing past you, hear the loud, anxious static of the unintegrated collective, desperately running from illusion to illusion, trying to extract survival from the external world. Notice how the old, fading programming of your proxy avatar instinctively wants to flinch. It wants to contract. It wants to absorb the panic, tighten its chest, and lower its magnificent frequency to match the chaos of the room. Do not flinch. Do not contract. Instead, I want you to consciously drop your awareness down into the heavy, grounded, absolute gravity of your own heart space. Feel the massive, undeniable weight of the sovereign throne materializing beneath you. You are the unmoving center of the cosmic wheel. You are the absolute eye of the storm. The chaos is spinning violently around you. The matrix is generating endless friction. But within your exact coordinates, there is only pure, blinding, uncompromising stillness. You are not a victim of this environment. You are the quantum architect who was destined to walk into it and organize it. Now, with your next deliberate breath, activate the breathtaking physics of your emanation. Do not attempt to push the chaos away, for pushing is a form of resistance, and resistance is an acknowledgement of fear. Instead, simply radiate your unshakable grace. Push a wave of thick, golden, unbreakable peace out from your zero-point field, completely flooding the chaotic space around you. Watch in the vastness of your mind's eye as the frantic, unformed kinetic energy of the matrix hits your golden frequency and instantly, beautifully dissolves into harmony. You are not asking the environment to calm down. You are aggressively, silently forcing the room to adapt to your internal temperature. You are commanding the physical atoms of reality to reflect your supreme dignity. The dense friction of the world cannot penetrate your emanation. It can only bow to it. Feel the breathtaking physical relief of this ultimate mastery. You are completely, eternally safe within the fortress of your own integrated character. You are a towering lighthouse of quantum coherence, standing effortlessly amidst the storm of the illusion. You never have to run from the density of the three-dimensional world again. You never have to spiritually bypass the beautiful friction of this human experience. You simply have to stand your ground, emanate your highest truth, and watch in quiet awe as the physical universe beautifully, dutifully, and flawlessly reorganizes itself around your unshakable grace. Gently and with the absolute, deliberate precision of a master architect, allow your conscious awareness to seamlessly return to the physical boundaries of your magnificent human vessel. But as you open your eyes to the holographic projection of the three-dimensional matrix, you are not leaving this breathtaking state of grace behind. You are not waking up from a temporary meditation. You are bringing the ultimate, waking truth of the unified field directly into the center of the dense physical dream. You have permanently altered the geometric architecture of your interaction with reality. The exhausting, fearful paradigm of the spiritual fugitive has been completely dismantled. The breathtaking, effortless physics of unshakable grace is now fully, undeniably online. You will no longer walk through the dense environments of this world as a fragile proxy, desperately trying to protect your energy from the friction of the matrix. You will walk out into the forge of physical reality as the unmoving, radiant center, knowing that the friction is simply the universe giving you the exact, perfect opportunity to temper your magnificent character into pure gold. The physical atoms of your environment, the circumstances of your daily life, and the vast, intricate web of human connections that surround you are already beginning to seamlessly reorganize themselves to perfectly mirror the pure, sovereign grace you have just commanded into existence. As you perfectly anchor this breathtaking reality into your waking state, you must intimately understand that physical action in the 3D matrix is the ultimate seal of any profound quantum shift. The dense physical realm requires a physical, undeniable anchor to permanently lock this newly established timeline into place. If this profound transmission has resonated within the very core of your cellular structure, if you feel the unmistakable, heavy dignity of your own sovereignty awakening in your chest, I invite you to solidify this masterclass right now. Subscribe to this frequency. This is not a meaningless engagement metric for a digital platform. It is a sacred, intentional tether to your highest possible baseline. By seamlessly aligning your digital reality with this channel, you are creating a permanent quantum anchor, ensuring that you are consistently, flawlessly reminded of your absolute power whenever the heavy, chaotic echoes of the old world attempt to draw your magnificent attention back into the illusion of reactivity. Like this transmission to actively, physically signal the algorithm of your own reality that you have claimed your throne in the center of the storm. And most importantly, I invite you to issue your final, undeniable decree to the morphic field of humanity. Drop into the comments below and physically type the words, "I am the unshakable center." By writing this precise declaration, you are not simply leaving a digital footprint in the matrix. You are transmitting a coherent, high-frequency shockwave of absolute peace through the entire collective consciousness. You are acting as a brilliant, unshakable lighthouse for the millions of other awakening nodes of consciousness who are still tired, still running, and still terrified of the dense friction of the physical world. When you share this transmission and when you declare your sovereignty in the physical realm, you mathematically prove to the quantum field that you are overflowing with infinite, unbothered grace. The era of escaping the physical matrix has officially, beautifully concluded. The exhausting timeline of the spiritual fugitive is completely dissolved. You have returned to the origin point of all creation, and you have realized that the origin point is the exact physical location where you are currently standing. There is absolutely nothing left to run from. There is absolutely nothing left to fear. The universe is a flawless, neutral, and endlessly devoted forge, and your flawlessly integrated character is the only unshakable metal that matters. Walk out into the heavy density of the physical matrix today, not as a victim trying to survive its friction, but as the master who uses it to shine. Stand in your absolute stillness. Radiate your uncompromising grace. Command the chaos simply by remaining completely untouched within it. The throne is yours, the emanation is active, and your magnificent reign in the physical world has fully begun. I will meet you in the boundless, silent, and perfect harmony of the unified field.